Governor Scott Walker outlined his budget proposal last night, including plans for education.
Among the topics include details on how much money will be put into a new incentive program for public K-12 schools. The idea is to reward high-performing schools and provide grants for struggling ones.
News 8's Carrie Vick joins us with a look at how area schools would be affected by the program.
Well, the incentive program is all based on school report card scores. It's a new system of grading schools' performance released for the first time at the beginning of the school year. $24 million would be split up between schools with high grades. And while local superintendents tell me extra money is always welcomed, it won't be enough to make up for the lack of state funding in the upcoming school year. In Governor Scott Walker's budget proposal, $64 million will be set aside for incentive funding for K-12 public schools.
High-performing schools like these are schools that show dramatic improvement in their scores. And in this budget, they'll get performance incentives.
$24 million will be awarded to schools with grades on their report card showing they exceed or significantly exceed expectations. According to last year's report cards, more than 700 schools in the state fall into those categories, meaning each school would only see about $30,000 apiece.
It can use the funds for things like rewarding exceptional teachers.
It's a program local superintendents say could be helpful, but may need to be thought through because of how new the report card system is.
We all know that it's very new. We've had one run of that report card. I do believe that it's too early to start putting some of the high-stakes things that are going into that report card at this point.
And with not much money budgeted for public schools in Walker's budget, West Salem Superintendent Troy Gunderson says an incentive program doesn't begin to tip the scales for schools that have already stripped down their budgets over the past few years.
All the people who work for me in school districts all took dramatic pay cuts and freezes and loss of benefits to help right the ship. And if you think that continually doing that to employees is the secret to future success, by dangling $24 million in front of them so you can buy a computer lab if your scores went up, quite frankly, that's insulting.
Others worry about the philosophy behind using money as a way to improve schools.
I don't know if there's ever enough money to incentivize people. I think people are, and you help me with this, I think people are intrinsically rewarded. They like people to say thank you. They like people to say you're doing a good job, but they don't like people to say, if you I'll give you $50 more if you become a better teacher.
But even with these concerns, school districts are happy there is some focus on rewarding teachers and improving schools. Now, based on last year's report card, La Crosse, West Salem, Onalaska, and Holmen all have at least one school that would qualify for the incentive funding.
All right, thank you, Carrie. The incentive program also sets aside money for schools that show at least a 3-point improvement on their report cards. There's also $10 million in grant money for underperforming schools that they can apply for.